On this episode of I Hate White Saviors.
You know what? While we're on the topic of how white people are just fucking the world up for everyone, you're not one of the good white people. There are no good white people. There are only anti-racist white people and racist white people. Anti-racism is a lifelong project, and the end goal is not for you to be good. It's for society to be good. Decenter yourself. Do the work. It's hard. You're going to get it wrong. But if you are not out there every day actively trying to understand, you're not a good white person. Stop patting yourself on the back. Stop congratulating each other. Stop separating us from the bad white people. Don't sit out there in comments and say, we don't claim them. We are them. We are them. We are the ones shooting up schools. We are the ones raping people. We are the ones enslaving people. We are. We're them.
Her logic is absolutely flawed on a biblical level, and it's not even funny. You want to generalize all white people as being nothing but a bunch of mass shooters and enslavers, which includes you as well. And no matter how much you want to stand for black people and marginalized communities, you will never be accepted because your own logic dictates that you're always going to be a problem and you are never going to be a good person. It is weird how people want to jump through hoops to try to speak so candidly about issues in society, yet they demonize other people instead of trying to have an honest conversation. And if we want to play the game of only white people being criminals, I can show you numerous pieces of evidence that are the contrary.
It starts now.
We begin tonight with an update on the weekend shooting at North Park Mall in Ridgeland. Residents across the metro still in shock after shots rang out yesterday. Ridgeland police have arrested and charged 16-year-old Zalil Deshelle Patterson for the shooting. They say she pulled a gun on a store owner and then that owner pulled out his gun and began shooting. 3 Your Side's Brendan Hall joins us live with more on this story. Brendan, you spoke with someone at the mall who heard the shots ring out. Tell us about it.
That's right, Patrice, and the person I spoke to is not only shaken up after the incident, but also frustrated about what prompted it. Before drawing her weapon, police say the 16-year-old suspect was trying to steal from a popcorn store.
It was several shots, and we all kind of just froze.
Kathy Courtney says shopping for her son's homecoming dance quickly turned into chaos at the North Park Mall Saturday.
We were all kind of ducking down, like people were starting to run in from the mall area. There was an employee hiding in the bathroom. I mean, people were terrified.
She says the panic didn't fully set in until she realized her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend were no longer with her, but closer to the gunfire.
My daughter said that she took off running. She just started running the opposite way. And her boyfriend followed. And like I said, they were able to run to the other side and exit through like the mall entrance.
Ridgeland police say the shooting was between 16-year-old Zalil Deshelle Patterson and the owner of a popcorn store, who Patterson was allegedly trying to steal from. While the teen was the first to draw a weapon, she was the only person shot. According to authorities, the store owner managed to shoot Patterson in the leg in what they are now calling self-defense.
I'm really glad it was an isolated incident, but at the same time, you want to feel like safe when you're taking your family or your children somewhere like a mall. Like, you don't want to have to worry about, you know, is this safe for me to go with my family and just to buy something normal for a homecoming dance.
As Saturday's scare continues playing out in her head, Courtney says she's thankful.
Just thankful to be here, thankful that, you know, my children are alive, that no one that was with me was injured.
North Park Mall closed after the shooting but was back open for business today. As for Patterson, Ridgeland police say she is behind bars at the Madison County Detention Center. No bond has been set at this time. Brendan Hall, 3 on Your Side.
This is a situation in question. A woman with something in her hand chasing after a 12-year-old over a Little League football game. The child running away with his hands in the air.
This is ridiculous. Like, how could you get that angry at a kid's game Your son plays football. They tackle each other. That's just the name of the game. How can you get that upset to chase him, and not only chase him, but curse him while you're chasing him?
It was the first game of the season for the Southside Ravens. They were up against the Northwest Gorillas. The game was cut short after just a few minutes of starting.
Yeah, he was okay. I picked him up and everything, and he was actually trying to shake my hand after the play until I guess his mom started chasing me.
An incident report by the Youth Football and Cheerleading League uncovers the parent in question was found in violation of multiple code of conduct policies. The YFF calling the woman a substantial threat to the environment.
Hey, if you cannot control your emotions that much that you get that upset, then you don't need to be around kids. But no, nobody has said anything to me.
She has since been banned from all events and activities permanently, and so have the rest of her family and children.
I hate that her son has to suffer. I hate that that team has to suffer because we don't hate them. We do this for fun.
The woman will need to pay a $200 fine, and so will her son's former team, the Northwest Gorillas, for $500 for not controlling the sideline.
I think it's just a learning lesson for everybody, for our team included, that you just can't take this to that level.
While we weren't able to get a hold of the woman in question, the Northwest Gorillas did make a statement on social media apologizing. It said in part, "We have since removed both the parent and child from the Northwest Gorillas." They say they don't stand with putting children in harm's way.
Paya County line by Hinds County deputies, and the police chief tells us that initially he will face malicious mischief charges from JPD. Now, FBI agents will be sitting in on the interrogation with JPD investigators, and McLaurin could face even more serious charges, including possible federal hate crime charges. Flames and smoke billowing from Epiphany Lutheran Church. According to the Jackson Fire Department, an arsonist targeted this church and another house of worship, along with 5 other structures overnight Tuesday, all the blazes within a mile and a half of each other near the Jackson State University campus.
I can't say I have seen things like this before, but this is a major occurrence. This is not something that we normally go to.
We got a call this morning about 1:45 saying that there was a fire going here at the church.
Greater Bethlehem Temple Church Communications Director Irvin Rick says several classrooms at the church's Children's Sunday School department had extensive damage from a fire that broke out around 2 o'clock in the morning.
It appears as just a single individual that came and deliberately tried to start a fire and actually broke into the church and got in and started a fire that way.
Houses, one thing, now you're dealing with churches. It's amazing that we would feel that we can just do this.
Authorities say the arsonist also set fire to a house on Pascagoula Street that destroyed that structure, and they believe the fire starter torched a privacy covering at a fence at the Jackson State University baseball field. The burning churches raised questions about whether the arsonist could be politically motivated. Neither church targeted is a polling precinct. The flames erupting hours before polls open in the crucial midterm election that will determine the balance of political power in Congress.
This going on and the rhetoric that's going on in the country now, you just have to be careful and keep an eye out of what's going on.
And now that McLaurin is in custody, JPD police chief tells us that they won't have to worry about bringing security to keep churches safe. Now that the suspect is in custody, church members and their leaders can rest easy.
And if I were to use everything I just showed you and stand proud and say black people are nothing but criminals, murderers, kidnappers, and all these things, you would look at me and say, I'm generalizing all of black people for what some people are doing. If I were to sit here and say, oh, you calling out black people doesn't really change anything because all you are a bunch of criminals, you would say that I'm generalizing because that's what is going on. And if you are somebody like this dumb white savior who wants to stand firm and say all white people this, all white people that, guess what? You're generalizing and it makes you look very, very stupid. And that logic can be used upon any other group in society, and you wouldn't like that because it makes a lot of marginalized communities just like the white evil people who you fixate on so much. A bunch of criminals, mass shooters, murderers, kidnappers, and that's not what you want. So I beg all of you, please, if you're a white savior, if you see me say these things and you think I'm infringing upon all black people, honestly, fix your conversation, fix your argument, because the more you post these TikTok videos, the more I see them on Twitter, the more I see the pictures of you grandstanding, the more I solidify my point that white saviors are an embarrassment to every single marginalized community.
This lady told me to leave because she thinks it's okay to be racist. She says it's America and it's okay to be racist. All right, sorry. You're right. On the sidewalk.
Get off my property. I can say and do what I want. I believe in the flag.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Apparently all my neighbors are racist.
This is what I think of you. Goodbye.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives... Oh, really? Really? You think black lives only matter to black people? This is the problem with America! This is the problem! This white Karen who thinks only white lives matter! Saying black lives matter, I'm saying that other lives don't matter. Black lives matter. Did you hear me say no other lives matter? I said black lives matter. I didn't say no other lives matter. I said black lives matter because they're the ones that are literally getting killed right now. I can't believe there's all these people on my street. They're racist as fuck, hiding in their houses, thinking that I'm the one that's causing a disturbance.
What's to do with you? Just go inside.
Because you think that people are literally, you're trying to get the cops to call your phone. Like that's the situation that you think is going on right now. I'm not on their lawn. I'm not on their lawn.
That, okay? But I have to notify you officially that you are trespassed from that property. So if you step foot on there again, you're going to be charged with criminal trespass.
Oh, okay. This is just like a warning. Gotcha.
Right. So
cool.
With criminal trespass, you have to be told prior to.
Oh,
Does that
okay.
make sense?
Yes.
So if you go there again,
you're telling me not to step foot on their lawn.
Correct.
Okay. Cool. Got it.
Fair. Okay.
Fair. Thank you.
Roger that.
So we're good.
Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.